floor to respected Claudia WADLICH. She's a German lady. She has came from Germany. She's attached with an organization called Balochistan project based in USA. She has written 4 books on different topics. Is a very active member in the French politics. She's a writer, she's a journalist. I'm thankful to you for your presence. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Munir Mengal, to give me the floor again to express my analytics. I'm not also a politician, but a political advisor and analyst, and I'm not connected to my government, so I gave some very important advices there, because my government of Germany is standing together with Pakistan and not interested to hear anything about the Baloch cause. That's very disappointing. So, ladies and gentlemen, Baloch have a sit-in in Baloch protest camp, demanding the releasing of Hafez Baloch. MPhil physics student. Students are not safe. They are demanding democratic constitutional rights for every citizen. They have driven in thousands to Islamabad, handcuffed and their faces covered to demonstrate against the numerous enforced disappearances. Hafez Baloch has been residing in UAE since 2012. He was running his business and serving his family while making his own studies. Also, there was a protest in Turbat to Quetta against enforced disappearances of Baloch people and so on. The result, nothing changes, nothing happens. The Pakistani army and the Frontier Corps are continuing their abduction, torture, unchecked and ignored by the world community, by the even supported now by UAE. And even abroad, they are not safe, like the example of Hafez Baloch. Also, it shows the example of the Baloch in Sweden and Karima Baloch in Canada, that they can't expect that these countries are guaranteeing their safety. What is going wrong? That Pakistan is still only on the grey list and not blacklisted. In spite of the so-called democratic values cherished and celebrated by Western democracies, repeated by claimed, and what does real politics look like the whole time? Pakistan will continue to get loans from IMF. And why are there no conditions attached to the loans regarding the security and the respect to the rights of the Baloch, that they can live on and that they can express themselves and that they are not silent? Why do 71% of the Baloch women and school-age children have to live in constant fear of being kidnapped? These are signs of an unnoticed and deliberate genocide and disappearance of a population that both the ruling Punjabi elite and the interest of international power politics are in the way of. To prevent a sovereign state of Balochistan, to outwipe the Baloch in a geostrategical area which is too important for many very important countries around the world, not only the superpower but China and also their allies, the allies of the superpower. Likewise, Baloch were not partners in the contract when the CPEC contract of China came about. Neither do the Pashtuns, Sindhis and the Kashmiris, especially Gilgit-Baltistanis, which has no seat in the Assembly of Pakistan. and thus this contract violates Pakistani and international law and is therefore null and void. Nevertheless, it is carried out, and no condition was attached to the inviolability of the Baloch. The enforced disappearances bear the stamp of a deliberate and systematically carried out genocide, as it was carried out by the colonial powers all over the world in the past and their successors in politics and the economy today as well. As we constantly point out, strategic interests and resources are the main reason why not the mainstream in the media reports accusingly in the whole, just with some exceptions like now Al Jazeera and The Guardian. The UN and NGOs are forbidden to enter investigate in Balochistan. A myriad of terrorist groups roam the territory of the Baloch, as well drug gang routes are crossing there. This indicates that the Baloch cannot expect help from any international source. Their silent international unnoticed disappearance is in the interest of Pakistan's power politics and also in the interest of the superpowers with its allies, and China is no exception. Silence is the powerful instrument of dictatorship politics, though they might present themselves as democrats. The establishment of the Pakistani state as a buffer between India and the former Soviet Union and the maintenance of the inner circle of Western power politics after India's independence have put the Baloch into the position aside and disturbing their aims, having no lobby among powerful political circles. I have no hope that the disappearances will stop soon. Therefore, it is still important for us to fight for the inalienable rights of the Baloch and the other ethnics in Pakistan as mentioned. Something will probably only change when there will be changes in the balance of power in the world. We must become too many people throughout the world to break the silence and to be heard not only at the UN, but also at the deciders of international politics. As we have a saying in Germany, man is a wolf to men. I thank you for your esteemed attention, dear ladies and gentlemen and dear friends. Thank you.
Thank you, respected Claudia WADLICH. And this is, our main cry that we have been neglected, and neglecting a community means erasing them from the history and from the humankind. And we are, crying from last 70 years. Unfortunately, the world has, till date, has not heard us, and they are neglecting us. And we fear that if the international community continues ignoring us in such a way, we will be erased from the history. And